I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our grade 4 English lesson on synonyms. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as a password, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts, grade 4, and then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of synonyms. So, synonyms, this is a continuation of our previous lesson, right? So, in our previous lesson, we had to choose synonyms and we also had to say which sentence has the same meaning, right? So, that is why I'm saying this is a continuation of a previous lesson because we did not complete everything on synonyms. So, today we're going to finish off the rest of synonyms, right? All right. So, we said a synonym, right? Or synonyms are words with the same meaning, or synonyms are words with almost the same meaning, right? So it's words with the same meaning or almost the same meaning. So which means that it will be different words, right? But the meanings of these words will be the same, right? Different words, but the meanings are the same, or the meanings will be almost the same. And when we say the meanings are almost the same, and then we mean in the sense of the meanings will then like kind of be similar. All right. So also when it comes to synonyms, right? Then if you change a word in a sentence to its synonym, and then the meaning of the sentence will then stay the same. Oh, I didn't change this. Find synonyms in context. All right. So we say that with synonyms, right? We say that the words are either the same in meaning or almost the same in meaning, right? The words with same meaning or almost the same meaning. So which means that if we have a specific sentence, right, even if I were to change that word in the sentence and add a different word that's a synonym of that word, right, then it means that the sentence will still stay the same. So it means that if you change a word within a sentence, right, if I were to change a word within a sentence to its synonym, right? Remember, synonyms are words with the same meaning. So if I were to add another word that is a synonym of that specific word that I remove, then the meaning of the sentence stays the same, right? The meaning won't change of that sentence. And if we look at the sentence, right, it says, firstly, the synonym, right? If we were to identify the synonyms, right, here we have in these two sentences, we have dad and father, right? Which means that dad and father, these are synonyms, right? So you can either say dad or you can say father. It really depends, right? It depends because dad and father still plays the same significant role, right? So which means that some people say dad, some people say it's my father, depending. But dad and father is the same thing. It's the same as saying mom and saying mother, right? It is basically the same thing because mom, mother, it plays the same significant role. As you said, some people say mom, others say mother, right? So if we look at these two sentences, we are not trying to we are not trying to identify how the words can change within a sentence, but the meanings will still be the same. All right, so for example, we say, my dad is a teacher, right? So my dad is a teacher. All right, and then if we have that very same sentence, right? But now we are changing the synonym, right? So instead of saying my dad is a teacher, we're now saying my father is a teacher. And then you still see that the basically the meanings within that sentence, it is still the same. Because whether you say my dad is a teacher or you say my father is a teacher, father and dad, those are synonyms, right? Which means that they are basically the same in meaning, which means that the sentence stays the same. So even if we were to say my mom is a teacher or my mother is a teacher, the sentence would still be the same. All right. So if we were then to identify a few more sentences, or not sentences, if we were to identify words that are synonyms, right? So we identified the synonyms as dad and father. We identified mom and mother. What are more synonyms that we can think of or that we can identify? Words with the same meaning or almost the same meaning. And if we were to identify more synonyms, right? Then think of the synonym as um let's look at the word old. Look at the word old, right? If something is old, right? Another word for old, right? We can maybe say old is ancient, right? But remember, you cannot use old for a person, right? If you're making mention of a person, because then you cannot change that word old to ancient, because old when it comes to a person is not the same as ancient, because ancient is something way different, right? But if you look at another one is to maybe sick, like, right, it's like if you say maybe I am sick, right? Another word can also be I am ill, right? So I'm either ill or I am sick, right? So that is still the same words, but different words, but the meanings are still the same, because the synonym the synonym of sick is ill. Yes. So I am to the close to the house, or I'm near the house, right? So which means that something is either close by or it's nearby. So well done, close or near, right? So close or near is correct. Another word. Let's think of more synonyms. What is the synonym of if you are scared? What is the synonym of scared? Remember, I said that this is a continuation of our previous lesson. So we did 2 lessons under the chapter synonyms. So now we are doing the last one, which is to find synonyms in context. That is what we're doing now. If I am scared, right, then another word would be I am afraid. I'm scared of the dark, or I am afraid of the dark, right? So scared, or we can say afraid. Yes, so scared or afraid is correct. So well done. Let's look at another one. If something is, we can even say something is beautiful, and another word for beautiful is pretty, right? So it's beautiful or pretty. That's a beautiful dress, or that is a pretty dress, right? Because we are making mention of something, we are describing something, right? Give me more synonyms, right? Before we go on to sentences that we can make of it. So if you give me words, I will try to make sentences by adding both those words to it, so that we can see how the meaning stays the same, right? Because we see that synonyms, it's words with the same meaning. So as much as it's 2 different words, right? So it's 2 different words, but these words, they have either the same meaning or the meanings are similar, right? So we see that if within a sentence the word changes, so even if I were to put beautiful in the sentence and I change beautiful and I put pretty, then it means that the meaning of that sentence will stay the same, right? And I made an example where I said that this is a beautiful dress, or we can say this is a pretty dress. It still puts emphasis on how nice or beautiful or pretty the dress look, right? All right. Let's look at another word. Okay, yes, we can say good and great. I'm doing good, or I'm doing great. Yes, that is correct. I didn't do so well in class. I did. awful, or that looks awful, or I feel awful, or I feel bad. I feel awful for not going or not wishing him for his birthday, or I feel bad for not wishing him for his birthday. Yes, well done. Another word for unhappy. Another word for unhappy. If you're unhappy, another word for unhappy. Yes, and another word for unhappy is sad, right? So even if we were to look at let's look at a sentence where we can put in unhappy. Um, let's maybe make, okay, let me not make a personal example. I was unhappy when, maybe let's say I felt unhappy when my granny, let's say, went to hospital. Or we could say I was sad when my granny went to hospital. So sad and unhappy is the same, right? It basically shows or tells us how one feels, right? Yes, and also fast and quick. Those are synonyms, right? All right, let's look at one more word. One more word. If it's somebody's birthday, right? Let's say, what is another word for gift? Another word for gift. So think of another word for gift. Yes, so another word for gift, we would say it's a present, right? So we can say that I bought my friend a gift for her birthday, or I bought her a present for her birthday. So do you guys see how, based on the synonyms that we gave, right, I tried to make an example of a sentence for both of the words, right? So I made a sentence, right? And with the sentence, I first basically mentioned the one word, and then I mentioned the other word, and then yet the meaning of that sentence stays the same, right? Because let's look at the word. Even if we were to like look at the word afraid or scared, right? It's like us saying I'm afraid of the dark. Let me just write it down for you. So we can either say that I am afraid, there's the word afraid of the dark, Or I can say I am. You see, now I'm using the same sentence but different word. I'm scared. Or I am scared of the dark. Right? So that is two sentences, right? Two different sentences, but I've used the same word, right? Because the synonym of afraid is scared. The synonym of scared is afraid. So I basically I added another word, let's say the synonym of that word within the sentence, and yet the meaning of that sentence stays the same. And that is what we are trying to identify, or that is what we're going to try and find within this lesson, right? It's where we are finding synonyms in context. And we said that if you change a word within a sentence, for example, like afraid or scared, you just change that words, right? And you still use the same sentence, then the meaning of that sentence still stays the same. Because remember, synonyms are words with the same meaning, or synonyms are words with almost the same meaning, right? All right, so now we're going to aplusstudents.ca, and we are going to the lesson of today and the synonyms. Like in our previous lesson, we had to choose synonyms, and we also had to say which synonym has the same meaning. That was the same as us now identifying different synonyms, right, of the words, right? Now we are going to find synonyms in context. All right, so we are going to find our synonyms in context, right? So it says once again that synonyms are words with the same meaning or almost the same meaning, right? So let's look at our activity before we go on to our test. All right, it says if we divide the sandwiches, we'll get we'll each get two. Let's split the bags of fruit too. So we need to select the synonym in bold. We need to select the synonym of the word that's in bold, and we need to find the synonym within the sentences over here. There's two sentences, so we need to find the synonym in the next sentence of that same word. So, for example, if we say, if we divide the sandwiches, we'll each get two. Let's split the bags of fruit too. What is the synonym of divide? We need to look in the second sentence for the synonym of divide, or the word that is the same as divide, or the word that is almost the same as divide. And if we were to select the synonym of the word in bold, which means that the synonym of divide will be split. So it's either to divide something or to split something, right? So that is the synonym. So divide is the same as split. right? It's like you're splitting something, you're sharing something, you're dividing something, right? Look at the next one. It says select the synonym of the word in bold, polite. It says Mrs. Copeland said it's not polite to interrupt when someone is speaking. I always try to be respectful, but sometimes I forget. We need to select the synonym of polite. What is the synonym of polite? So we need to identify the synonym, the word that is the same as polite. Polite. All right, and if we were to identify the synonym of polite, then we would say, I always try to be respectful. So, respectful is the same as saying you are being polite. So, polite, and the synonym of polite is to be respectful, right? It's like be nice, be respectful, be polite. That is what it means, right? So, Mrs. Copeland said it's not polite to interrupt when someone is speaking. I always try to be respectful, but sometimes I forget, right? So, polite is another word for respectful or to be nice, right? That is what polite is. There's actually there's a lot of words that can be the synonym of polite. Um, Another word can be you are being courteous. Um, be kind is the same as saying be polite, right? You must have manners, mannerly. Um, you need to be proper or decent, and that is basically being polite, right? So there, like I said, there are different words, but the words or being courteous, but the word that we have identified within the sentence, right, that is the same as polite or almost the same as polite is to be respectful. So polite and respectful, that is our synonyms. All right, look at another word. Difficult. We need to find the synonym of difficult, the word that is similar or almost the same in meaning as difficult. It says Ava had a difficult time reading Matilda in third grade. Now that she's in fifth grade, it won't be so hard for her. All right, so it says Ava had a difficult time reading Matilda in third grade. Now that she's in fifth grade, it won't be so hard for her. right? Which means that the word that is the same as difficult or almost the same as difficult, it is hard, right? So difficult and hard, that is a synonym of each other. So the synonym of difficult is hard. The synonym of hard is difficult, which means that both of these words mean that it is not easy, right? Something is difficult. If it's hard, then it means that it is not easy. So which means that that is a synonym of one another. So even if I were to leave that one sentence only, right, and I were to change that word difficult to hard, it would still be the same. So it would say Ava had a hard time reading Matilda in third grade, meaning still the same. Now that she's in fifth grade, it won't be so difficult for her. The meaning of that sentence still stays the same. All right, so now we're going on to our test where we're going to find synonyms in context. So we need to select the synonym of the word in bold. We need to select the synonym of the word in bold. It says the first few scenes of the movie were quite amusing. So we need to find the synonym of amusing. By the end, though, the movie wasn't funny anymore. What is the synonym of amusing? The word that is the same as amusing or almost the same as amusing. Is it funny or is it movie? Funny or movie? All right, so the synonym of the word amusing is funny, right? So the word that's the same or almost the same as amusing is funny. And funny is correct. Albert is eager to start fifth grade in September. He will be going to a new school and is excited to make new friends. So, eager, we need to find the synonym of the word eager. Is it excited or is it new? Unfortunately, I cannot end before the 45 minutes. Um, I think it will depend on your parents if you can leave, but unfortunately, I need to basically teach for the full 45 minutes. So, less than 10 minutes and then we're done. Say, let's say about 8 minutes and then we're done. Right? So, Albert is eager. What is another word for eager? Eager to start fifth grade in September. He will be going to a new school and is excited to make new friends. So, eager, is it excited or new? And if we were to select the synonym of eager, we would say it is excited. Because he is, if we were to change that word or substitute that word eager to excited, we would say Albert is excited or he is eager to start fourth grade in September. All right, the next one says the cake we bought at the bakery last week was awful. It was dry and the frosting tasted terrible too. So we need to select the synonym of the word awful. What is the word that is the same in meaning as awful or almost the same in meaning as awful? Is it terrible or is it frosting? All right, and if we were to select the synonym of the word in bold, right? Where we say the cake that was bought at the bakery last week was awful and the frosting tasted terrible. So terrible is the same as frosting. Terrible is the same as awful, right? If something is awful, then it is terrible. All right. So Mrs. Copeland said it's not polite to interrupt when someone is speaking. I always try to be respectful, but sometimes I forget. So we need to select the synonym of polite, the word that is the same as polite or almost the same as polite. So the synonym of polite, and the synonym of polite, or the word that is the same as polite or almost the same as polite, we would say it is respectful, right? So respectful is the same as polite. Being respectful, you're being nice, you're well mannered. That is what we mean by being polite. Dad said that when I complete my homework, I need to rake the leaves. When I finish raking, then I can go play. So we need to select the synonym of the word complete. The word that is the same as complete or the word that is almost the same as complete. Is it finish that's the same as complete or raking is the same as complete? Which one is the synonym of complete? The word that is the same meaning as complete or almost the same meaning as complete. All right, and if we were to select the word that is the same or almost the same as complete, then to complete something is to finish something. Finish something is to complete something. So even if we were to substitute that word complete with the word finish, then we can say, Dad said that when I finish my homework, I need to rake the leaves. Right? So when I finish my homework, when I complete my homework, those two words are the same in meaning. The sentence did not change because the meaning of that sentence still stays the same. So finish is correct. When Tara was a child, she wanted to be a firefighter. Now that she's not a kid anymore, she wants to be an engineer. We need to select the synonym of the word child. What is the word that's the same as child? The meaning of the word that is the same as child or almost the same as child? Is it kid or is it not? Child. All right, and we can say when Tara was a kid or when Tara was a child, she wanted to be a firefighter. Right? All right, let's do the last one and then we are done. The diver was below the surface of the water exploring the shipwreck. He was searching the area under the bow of the ship. So we need to select the synonym of the word below. Is it under or is it bow? We need to select the word that is the same as below or the word that is almost the same as below. Is it under or bow? All right, and if we were to select the word that is the same as below, then yes, we will choose option one because the same as below is under. So even if we were to substitute that word below with under, then we would say the diver was under the surface of the water exploring the shipwreck. All right, so this is the end of our lesson on synonyms. We said synonyms are words with the same meaning or it's words with almost the same meaning, right? And we said that even if we were to change or substitute the word with a different word that is the same as the word, then the meaning of a sentence will still stay the same. So this is the end of our lesson. Thank you very much, grade 4s, for joining the class. And I really hope that you're going to have a good weekend further. So till next time, goodbye.